A stray dog with piercing eyes faces a sinister plot. Can Toro save Alma from those plotting to steal Oaxaca's soul? Toro, a scrawny mixed-breed dog in Oaxaca, hears a faint cry for help from an old warehouse. Alma, the keeper of an ancient mezcal recipe, is held captive by her treacherous grandson, Diego, who aims to sell her family's legacy to a greedy corporation. A forgotten dog, a threatened secret, a battle for justice. This true story will change how you see loyalty forever. Toro glides through cobblestone streets. Ears perquet. Nose sniffing. A scar on his foreleg speaks of hungry days. But his eyes burn like fire. A weak cry from the warehouse stops him. Through a door crack, Alma, her silver hair tangled, Istiadup, whispering, "Help." Toro, once a guard dog, slips inside, carrying a scrap of corn tortilla. Alma smiles faintly. "You are my salvation." Little one, Lucia, a young painter, sees Toro growling at the warehouse. Realizing he's not just scavenging, he's saving someone. Juan Toro's journey. Comment below. Where are you watching from? Hit subscribe to Huelas y Susurros. Tap the bell to catch more heart-touching stories. Now, stepping to Oaxaca, where Toro begins his mission. Oaxaca awakens at dawn. Cobblestone streets shimmer with dew. The scent of grilled corn tortillas wafts from Zocalo Market. Toro, a small mixed-breed dog with patchy gray fur, weaves through alleys. His skinny legs move lightly, but a long scar on his foreleg and stumpy tail tell of beatings and abandonment. Toro survives on market scraps, his brown eyes sharp and alert. Once a guard dog for a flower vendor, he was cast out when she passed away. Now, he wanders, seeking not just food but a place to belong. That morning, Toro pauses at an old warehouse near the market. His ears perk. Nose twitches. A faint sound rises. "Help. Please. Someone." Toro tilts his head. Hackles rising. It edges closer, nudging through broken crates, and peers through a narrow gap in the weathered door. There, in dim light, sits Alma on a rickety chair, hands bound with rope. Her silver hair is matted, her cloudy eyes filled with fear, her voice trembling yet resolute. "Help. Anyone." Toro, driven by a guardian's instinct, doesn't hesitate. He scratches at the dirt, squeezing his small frame through the gap. Carrying a corn tortilla scrap from the market, he drops it at Alma's feet, nuzzling her hand. "I'm here." Alma gazes at Toro, her eyes softening. "You're my angel, little one." She strokes his head, her hand shaking from cold and hunger. Toro lis beside her, warming her in the damp warehouse. He senses something bigger, as if fate led him here. Outside, Lucia, a 25-year-old painter with black hair tied high, works on a mural near the market. She often tosses Toro a tamal, but today he's different. E ignores fuz, standing by the warehouse, ears up, eyes fixed. Lucia stops painting, wipes paint from her hands, and approaches. "Toro. What's wrong?" Little one, Toro growls softly, circling the warehouse, as if urging her to follow. Lucia trails him, heart racing. She hears a whisper. "Help." Peering through the door crack, she sees Alma, known across Zocalo. Alma holds an ancestral mezcal recipe, a liquor crafted from agave, the soul of Oaxaca. Lucia recalls Alma's market night tales. A voice proud. "This is more than liquor. It's our history." Now, Alma is bound, Lips cracked. Lucia shudders as Diego, Alma's grandson, steps inside. His voice is cold over the phone. The old woman won't talk. But that mezcal will be ours. Lucia ducks behind the crate. Pulse pounding. Diego. Hair slicked back. Eyes greedy. Leaves. Abandoning Alma to darkness. Toro growls. Fur bristling. As if ready to chase him. Lucia whispers. Easy. Toro. Not yet. She realizes Toro isn't scavenging. He's saving Alma. Lucia snaps a photo of Toro at the door crack. Texting a friend. Something's happening at the warehouse. This dog knows something. Toro locks eyes with her. Urging. Let's help her. Alma strokes Toro. Whispering. Find someone with a heart. Toro nuzzles her hand. As if promising. He slips out. Darting through the alley. Nose sniffing. Seeking allies. Lucia feels a surge of adrenaline. She knows Alma's in danger. Diego plotting to steal the mezcal recipe. Selling it to a corporation. Destroying a family legacy. Toro. The stray. Is Alma's only hope. Lucia murmurs. You're not alone. Toro. We'll save her. Zotalo market hums. Vendors call out. Coffee roasts mingle with taco smoke. Toro weaves through crowds. Ears alert. Sensing time is short. Lucia follows. Determined to learn more. She recalls Alma's words. Dogs never forget those who love them. Toro, though abandoned, carries that loyalty. He's not just finding Alma. He's guarding Oaxaca's soul. Lucia pauses at a flower stall where Toro once slept. She sees him bark softly. As if calling. Lucia grips her phone. Knowing she can't act alone. Toro lifts his head. Eyes blazing. Trust me. Lucia nods. All right. Little one. We'll do this together. What will Toro and Lucia do next? Drop a comment with your thoughts. The story's just beginning. And Toro's loyalty will lead us to unexpected places. The sun dips low over Oaxaca, casting long shadows across Zocalo Market. The air hums with the chatter of vendors packing up, the scent of roasted chiles lingering. Toro, the scrawny mixed breed with patchy gray fur, slips through the fading crowds. A mission in his sharp brown eyes. Each day, he returns to the old warehouse near the market, where Alma remains trapped. His scar-marked foreleg moves with purpose as he carries small treasures: a scrap of tortilla, a tattered cloth, even a tiny bottle of ointment scavenged from a trash pile. Toro nudges through the narrow crack in the warehouse door, silent as a shadow, avoiding the gaze of Diego's thug posted nearby. Inside, Alma sits bound, her silver hair glinting in the dim light filtering through a broken window. Her face softens when she sees Toro. You're back, pequeño. She strokes his head, her trembling fingers finding comfort in his warmth. Toro drops his offering, a piece of tamal wrapped in corn husk, and lies beside her. His body, a small shield against the cold concrete. Alma's voice, frail but steady, fills the silence. My family crafted mezcal for generations. It's not just liquor. It's our roots. Our Oaxaca. But Diego, mi nieto, betrayed me. He wants to sell our recipe to outsiders. Tu eraseus. Toro tilts his head, as if listening. His eyes locked on hers. He nuzzles her hand. Aquí et promise. I won't leave you. Ah, visit. He learns the warehouse's rhythm when the guard dozes. Which boards creak. One night, he drags a small blanket through the crack. Stolen from a market stall. Alma wraps it around her shoulders, whispering, "Eres mi única esperanza." Toro style fleeks. A spark of pride in his battered frame. Outside. Lucia. The young painter. Watches Toro's routine. She's taken to sketching near the warehouse. Her mural of agave plants, a cover for her vigilance. Toro's behavior, ignoring food. Darting to the warehouse gnaws at her. He's no ordinary stray. One evening. She follows him closer. Crouching behind crates. Through the door crack. She sees Toro curl up beside Alma. Who murmurs stories of her youth market festivals. Mezcal tastings under starlit skies. Lucia's heart clenches. Alma's not just a prisoner. She's a guardian of something sacred. Lucia overhears Diego's voice one night. His shadow looming over Alma. Tell me where the recipe is. Abuela. Or you'll rot here. Alma's reply is firm. It's not yours to sell. It belongs to Oaxaca. Diego slams the door. Cursing. Lucia. Hidden. Feels a chill. She notices Toro's cleverness, how he waits for the guard to turn away. Slips in without a sound. She whispers to herself. You're guarding her. Toro. You know what's at stake. Alma's stories grow heavier. She tells Toro of Diego's greed. How he fell in with a foreign cartel posing as a corporation. Hungry for the mezcal's fame. They'll strip it. Mass produce it. It hace our name. Toro growls softly. As if understanding. He brings a small stone one day. Oddly shaped. From the warehouse floor. Alma clutches it. Erais distant. It's from our agave fields. You remind me of my old dog. Canito. He protected me too. Toro presses closer. His warmth, a lifeline in her despair. Lucia suspicion hardens into action. She starts photographing the warehouse. Capturing Diego's thug. A man with a scarred cheek. Smoking outside. She texts her friend Javier. A mezcal craftsman. Alma's in trouble. Toro's sneaking in. Bringing her things. It's not random. He's saving her. Javier's reply is swift. Meet me tomorrow. We need to act. Lucia lingers. Watching Toro's leap out. He pauses. Locking eyes with her. As if saying. Hurry. She nods. I'm with you. Pequeño. One night. Toro faces a close call. The guard. Alerted by a rustle. Swings a stick at the door crack. Toro dodges. His yelp swallowed by the night. Escapes. Limps slightly. But returns the next day. Undeterred. With a scrap of cloth. Lucia. Watching. Feels a surge of awe. He's risking everything. She sketches Toro in her notebook. His silhouette fierce. Eyes blazing. Alma's words echo in her mind. Dogs never forget those who love them. Toro's loyalty isn't just instinct, it's a vow. Alma. Bolstered by Toro's visits. Finds strength. She tells him. If you get out. Pequeño. Bring someone brave. Someone who'll fight for our mezcal. Toro nuzzles her. As if promising. He slips out. Weaving through Zocalo's twilight bustle. The market glows with lanterns. Mariachi music drifting. Lucia follows. Her resolve firm. She knows Diego's plot threatens more than Alma, it endangers Oaxaca's soul. Toro pauses at a flower stall. Where he once slept. And barks softly. Lucia kneels beside him. We'll save her. Toro. I promise. The night deepens. Stars piercing the sky. Toro darts back to the warehouse. Carrying a small bone. His latest gift. Alma takes it. Her smile faint but real. You're my hero. Pequeño. Lucia. Watching from the shadows. Feels the weight of their bond. Toro's not just a stray. He's a guardian. A spark of hope in a darkening plot. She murmurs. We're coming. Alma. Toro's leading the way. What will Toro bring next? How will Lucia act? Comment your thoughts below. Toro's loyalty is weaving a story that's only beginning to unfold. The Oaxaca night hums with life. Zocalo market glows under paper lanterns. The air thick with the scent of mole and the strum of mariachi guitars. Toro. The wiry mixed breed, with patchy gray fur. Slips through the crowd. His scarred foreleg barely slowing him. His brown eyes burn with purpose as he heads toward the old warehouse where Alma remains captive. Each night, he brings her small gifts, a tortilla scrap. A tattered cloth sliding through the door crack like a shadow. But tonight, his ears perk higher. Sensing danger. Diego's thug. A man with a scarred cheek. Paces closer to the warehouse. His eyes scanning the dark. Lucia, the young painter, lingers near her mural of agave plants. Watching Toro, her heart races from what she overheard last night. Diego's threat to Alma. His plan to sell the mezcal recipe to a foreign cartel. She knows Toro's visits are keeping Alma alive. But time is running out. Lucia's phone buzzes with a reply from Javier. A grizzled mezcal craftsman who worked for Alma's family years ago. Meet me at the mercado. Now. Lucia glances at Toro, who growls softly at the warehouse door. I'm coming. Pequeño. She hurries through the market. Dodging vendors, selling sugar, skulls, and marigolds. Javier waits by a tamal stand. His salt and pepper hair tucked under a worn hat. His hands, calloused from years of agave harvesting, clutch a clay mug of atol. Lucia spills everything Toro's strange behavior. Alma's captivity. Diego's betrayal. Javier Cisnero. That mezcal isn't just liquor. It's Oaxaca's soul. If Diego sells it. Our tradition dies. He pauses. Sipping his drink. I knew Alma's father. That recipe was his life. Diego's working with a cartel. Not some company. They'll ruin us. Lucia shows Javier her photos Toro slipping through the warehouse crack. The thug's scarred face. Javier notes. That dog's smarter than most people. He's guarding Alma. And we need to help him. They agree to meet near the warehouse at dawn. When the guard is drowsiest. But as they plan, Toro's mission grows riskier. Inside the warehouse, Alma strokes his head. Her voice weak. You're brave. Pequeño. But Diego's coming for me. She points to a locked wooden box in the corner. The recipe's there. If he gets it, it's over. Toro nuzzles her. His tail flicking. He slips out. But the guard's footsteps are closer tonight. Toro freezes. Then darts into an alley. Barely escaping a swung stick. Alma's words echo in his ears. Find someone brave. Outside. Lucia and Javier approach the warehouse. Staying low. They hear Diego's voice. Sharp and cold. Sign the papers. Abuela, give me the recipe. Or you'll never see daylight. Alma's reply cuts through. It's not yours to take. It's for Oaxaca. Diego slams his fist on the box. Cursing. I'll break it open if I have to. Lucia and Javier duck behind crates. Hearts pounding. Toro. Back at the warehouse. Growls softly. His fur bristling. Lucia whispers. Easy. Toro. We're here. Javier points to the box in the corner. Visible through the door crack. That's where the recipe is. We need to get it before Diego. Toro's eyes lock on the box. As if understanding. Nudges Lucia's hand. Urging her forward. Javier muter. That dog knows more than we do. The market's energy pulses nearby children laughing. Vendors calling. The scent of grilled elote mingling with copal incense. Lucia and Javier slip into the shadows, planning their next move. Javier recalls Alma's stories of the mezcal's creation, agave roasted in earthen pits, distilled with songs and prayers. It's not just a drink. It's our heritage. Diego's cartel wants to mass produce it. Strip its soul. Lucia clenches her fists. We can't let that happen. Toro barks softly, as if agreeing, his eyes darting between them and the warehouse. Inside, Alma whispers to Toro, "You're my strength, pequeño." She slips him a small key, hidden in a sleeve. "For the box. Keep it safe." Toro grips it gently in his mouth, slipping out before the guard returns. Effins Lucia, dropping the key at her feet. She gasps, "Toro, you're incredible." Javier knees, inspecting the key. "This changes everything. We need to act fast." But danger looms. The guard, now alert, scans the alley, muttering, "That dog's back. I'll deal with it." Lucia and Javier retreat to a quiet corner of the market, where a vendor fries quesadillas under a flickering lamp. They huddle. "Voici-le." Javier says, "We need a plan to get that box." Toro can ledus. But Diego's men are watching. Lucia nods, stroking Toro's head. "You're our guide, pequeño." Toro wags his tail, the key now tucked in Lucia's pocket. The market's vibrancy, women weaving rebozos, men playing guitars, grounds their resolve. Oaxaca's spirit fuels them, just as it fuels Toro. As they leave, a child tosses Toro a piece of pan dulce. He carries it back to Alma, slipping through the crack. Alma smiles. "Tears in her eyes. You never give up." Though you Toro lies beside her, guarding her through the night. Lucia and Javier watch from afar, knowing the fight is just beginning. Diego's greed threatens more than Alma, it threatens a legacy. Lucia murmurs, "We'll protect it. Toro. For her. For Oaxaca." What will Toro and his allies do next? Comment below with your thoughts. The battle for Oaxaca's soul is heating up. Oaxaca pulses under a twilight sky. The cobblestone streets of Zocalo market alive, with the clink of clay mugs and the laughter of vendors. The scent of roasted agave drifts from mezcal stalls, a reminder of the legacy at stake. Toro, the scrawny mixed breed with patchy gray fur, crouches near the old warehouse, his scarred foreleg steady, his brown eyes sharp. The small key Alma slipped him rests safely in Lucia's pocket, a fragile hope to unlock the wooden box holding the mezcal recipe. Toro's ears twitch, catching the low growl of Diego's thug pacing nearby. Time is slipping away, and Toro senses it. Lucia and Javier huddle in a quiet corner of the market, hidden behind a stack of woven baskets. Lanterns cast flickering shadows as Lucia sketches a rough map of the warehouse on her sketchpad, marking the door crack Toro uses and the alley's hidden entrance. Javier, his calloused hands tracing the map, whispers, "We need to get that box before Diego breaks it open." Toro can ledus. "But we'll need a distraction." Lucia notes, her dark hair falling loose. She glances at Toro, who sits alert, as if understanding their plan. "You're our guide, pequeño." They decide to strike during the upcoming Dia de los Muertos festival, when Oaxaca's streets will burst with music, costumes, and crowds, perfect cover for a rescue. Lucia suggests using a hidden camera to track the guard's movements. "I can rig one from my art supplies." Javier agrees, adding, "We'll need tools to open the box quietly. I know a locksmith in the market." Toro barks softly, nudging Lucia's leg, as if urging haste. She smiles. "Patience. Toro. We're doing this right. Inside the warehouse. Alma sits in the dim light. Her hands still bound. Toro slips through the crack, carrying a scrap of pan dulce from a vendor's gift. Alma's eyes light up. You're back. Pequeño. She strokes his head. Her voice a whisper. The box is locked. But the key will work. Diego's men are watching closer now. Be careful. Toro nuzzles her, his warmth easing her fear. He slips out, dodging the guard's gaze. His tail low but resolute. Lucia and Javier scout the warehouse at dawn. When the market is quiet, and the guard dozes, Toro leads them to a narrow alley behind the building, where an old drainage grate lies hidden under debris. Javier knees, inspecting it. This could be our way in. Toro scratches at the grate, as if confirming. Lucia whispers. You knew this was here, didn't you? Toro's eyes gleam. Hesitant affirmation. Javier prees the grate loose, revealing a cramped tunnel barely wide enough for a person. It smells of damp earth and rust, but it leads under the warehouse. Toro dashes inside, sniffing, then returns, as if saying, it's safe. Back at the market, Lucia sets up her camera, disguised as a broken lantern, near the warehouse door. It captures the thug's routine. He smokes, paces, and leaves every hour to buy coffee. Javier murmurs. That's our window. We go in when he's gone. Lucia sketches Toro in her notebook, his silhouette fierce against the warehouse. He's not just a dog. He's our compass. Javier notes, sipping a toll from a clay cup. I've seen mezcal makers lose everything to greed. Alma's recipe is Oaxaca's heart. Ve cantlet Diegovin. The market buzzes with preparations for Dia de los Muertos. Women weave marigold garlands. Children paint sugar skulls. And musicians tune guitars for the parade. Lucia and Javier blend in, buying supplies: a pry bar, a flashlight, a small bolt cutter. Lucia paints her face like a calavera, practicing her disguise for the festival. Javier chuckle. You'll fit right in. But Toro's the real hero. Toro wags his tail, clutching a stolen corncob in his mouth, as if ready for action. Inside the warehouse, Alma whispers to Toro during his nightly visit. You've brought me hope, pequeño. If you get the box, keep it safe. She slips him a tiny woven bracelet, a family heirloom. As a token, Toro grips it gently, slipping out to deliver it to Lucia. She gasps, holding the bracelet. This is Alma's. She's trusting us. Javier's eyes harden. Then we don't fail her. Or Toro. They finalize the plan during the festival. Toro will distract the guard by causing a commotion, while Lucia and Javier enter through the tunnel to free Alma and retrieve the box. As they prepare, danger looms. Diego visits the warehouse, his voice venomous. You're wasting my time. Abuela. Sign the papers, or I'll burn this place down with you in it. Alma's voice is steady. You'll never have it. It's not just mine. It's Oaxaca's. Diego kicks the box, cursing, and storms out. Toro, hidden in the shadows, growls, his fur bristling. Lucia, watching through the camera feed, clenches her fists. We're coming. Alma. Toro's leading us. The market's energy surges. Vendors shout. Copal incense burns, and children chase each other with painted faces. Lucia and Javier feel Oaxaca's spirit fueling them. Toro, lying at their feet, chews the corncob, eyes alert. Lucia strokes his head. You're our spark, pequeño. Javier. Let's make this festival one Diego never forgets. Toro barks, A sharp, determined sound. As if sealing their pact. The rescue is near. But the stakes are higher than ever. Will Toro's cunning lead them to victory? Comment below with your predictions. Oaxaca's soul hangs in the balance. And Toro's loyalty lights the way. Oaxaca's twilight deepens. The Zocalo market shimmering with the glow of Dia de los Muertos preparations. Marigold garlands drape over stalls. Their earthy scent mingling with roasted corn and copal incense. Toro, the lean mixed breed with patchy gray fur, moves like a shadow toward the old warehouse. His scarred foreleg steady, despite a fresh limp from dodging the guard's stick last night. His brown eyes gleam with resolve. The woven bracelet from Alma tucked safely with Lucia. A symbol of trust. The key to the mezcal recipes box burns in Lucia's pocket. But danger is closing in. Toro's ears twitch. Catching the heavy steps of Diego's thug. Now joined by a second man. Their whispers sharp in the dusk. Lucia and Javier crouch behind a stack of crates near the warehouse. Checking the hidden camera's feed on Lucia's phone, the grainy image shows the scarred cheek thug pacing. A new alertness in his stance. Javier muter. Diego's onto something. They're watching closer. Lucia's heart races. She strokes Toro, who lies low, growling softly. Stay sharp. Pequeño. We're almost there. The plan is set during the festival. Toro will distract the guards. And they'll slip through the tunnel to free Alma. But the air feels heavier tonight. Charged with threat. Inside the warehouse. Alma sits bound. Her silver hair catching faint moonlight. Toro slips through the door crack. Carrying a small mango peel scavenged from the market. Alma's eyes soften. You never stop. Pequeño. She strokes his head. Her voice a whisper. Diego's men are everywhere. Be careful. Toro nuzzles her. His warmth a fleeting comfort. He senses the guard's new vigilance. His tail low as he exits. Dodging a thrown bottle that shatters against the wall. His yelp is swallowed by the market's hum. But the near miss shakes him. Diego's suspicion grows. He storms into the warehouse. His slick hair glinting under a flickering bulb. You're hiding something. Abuela. I see that dog sneaking around. Where's the key? Alma's gaze is defiant. You'll never find it. It's not yours. Diego grabs her arm. His voice venomous. I've got friends who'll make you talk. He leaves. Barking orders to the thug. If that dog shows up, trap it. No more games. Lucia, watching the camera feed, gasps. They're after Toro. Javier tightens. We need to move faster. The market buzzes with festival energy. Children paint calaveras. Vendors stack sugar skulls. And a mariachi band rehearses nearby. Lucia and Javier blend in. But their nerves are frayed. They meet at a quiet stall, selling rebozos. Where Lucia reviews the camera footage. It captures Diego meeting a man in a crisp suit. His badge glinting. Javier curses under his breath. That's Captain Salazar. Local police. He's dirty. Diego's got him in his pocket. Lucia's stomach churns. If the police are involved, we're not just fighting Diego. We're fighting the system. Toro's next visit to the warehouse is perilous. He carries a scrap of cloth. But the second thug spots him. Lunging with a net. Toro bolts. His limp slowing him. Weaving through crates as the net grazes his tail. He dives into the alley. Heart pounding. And hides under a vendor's cart. The thug curses. Kicking a crate. That mutt's trouble. Tell Diego. Toro waits. Trembling. Then limps back to Lucia. Dropping the cloth at her feet. She kneels. Voice soft. You're so brave. Pequeño. But we can't lose you. Javier inspects Toro's leg. Frowning. He's hurt. But he won't stop. That dog's got more heart than most. Alma, alone in the warehouse, clings to hope. She whispers to herself, picturing Toro. You're my light. Pequeño. Keep them safe. She grips the rope binding her, testing its strength. Her fingers raw but determined. Outside. Lucia and Javier refine their plan. The tunnel's ready. The camera's set. But Salazar's involvement changes everything. Javier says, we need proof Diego's dirty. If we get the recipe and expose him, Salazar can't protect him. Lucia notes, sketching Toro's fierce eyes in her notebook. We'll use the festival's chaos. Toro will lead us. The market pulses, women weave garlands. Men light candles. The air thick with anticipation. Lucia paints her face like a calavera, practicing her disguise. Javier buys a small knife, tucking it into his belt, just in case. Toro, resting at their feet, chews a corn husk. His eyes alert. Lucia murmurs, you're our spark. Pequeño. Javier adds, let's make Diego regret crossing Oaxaca. Toro barks. A low, determined sound, as if ready for battle. But danger spikes. The camera catches Diego inspecting the warehouse's exterior, his eyes narrowing at the alley where the tunnel lies. He mutters to Salazar, someone's watching. Tighten security. Lucia's phone pings with the footage. Her heart sinking. They're closing in. Javier grips her shoulder. We stick to the plan. Toro's our edge. Lucia looks at Toro, who meets her gaze. Unwavering. We trust you. Pequeño. The festival looms. Its promise of salvation shadowed by risk. Toro limps to the warehouse one last time, carrying a tiny flower from a marigold garland. Alma takes it. Dias in her eyes. You're my hero. Pequeño. Toro leaps beside her, guarding her through the night. Lucia and Javier watch the camera feed, knowing the next move could cost everything. Diego's cartel ties and Salazar's corruption raise the stakes. Will Toro's courage outshine the danger? Comment below with your thoughts. Oaxaca's heart beats in Toro's paws. And the fight is far from over. Oaxaca explodes, with life as Dia de los Muertos dawns. Zocalo market pulses with color, marigold arches sway. Sugar skulls gleam on stalls. And mariachi music weaves through the air. The scent of copal incense and roasted tamales fills the streets. Masks of painted calaveras bobbing in the crowd. Toro, the wiry mixed breed with patchy gray fur, moves through the chaos. His scarred foreleg limping but steady. His brown eyes burn with focus. The key to Alma's mezcal recipe safe with Lucia. Tonight, under the festival's cover, they'll free Alma and secure the wooden box holding Oaxaca's legacy. Toro's ears twitch, sensing the weight of the moment. Lucia and Javier blend into the crowd, their faces painted like calaveras to mask their intent. Lucia's heart races, her pocket heavy with the key Toro carried from Alma. Javier, his worn hat pulled low, grips a pry bar beneath his poncho. They follow Toro to the alley behind the warehouse, where the hidden drainage grate waits under debris. The market's noise drums. Laughter. Vendors shouting drowns their steps. Lucia kneels beside Toro, whispering, lead the way. Pequeño. Toro sniffs the grate, then doubts insight. His tail, a faint flicker in the dark tunnel. The tunnel is cramped, smelling of damp earth and rust. Cobwebs cling to Lucia's hair as she crawls. Flashlight beam dancing ahead. Javier follows, his breath heavy. This better work. Toro's claws scrape the concrete, guiding them beneath the warehouse. They emerge in a shadowy corner. The air thick with mildew. Through a crack in the floorboards, they see Alma, bound to her chair. Her silver hair glinting under a flickering bulb. Toro whines softly, nudging Lucia toward the wooden box in the corner. She clutches the key. Heart pounding. We're here. Alma. Toro slips through a gap in the wall. Reaching Alma, he nips at her ropes. His teeth careful but swift. Loosening the knots. Alma's eyes widen. You brought them. Pequeño. She strokes his head. Her voice a whisper. The box. Hurry. Lucia and Javier creep forward. The prybar ready to force the box if the key fails. But the warehouse creaks, a thug's boots thud outside. Lucia freezes. Her calavera paint streaking with sweat. Javier whispers. Stay low. Toros or distraction. Toro senses the danger. He darts back through the gap. Barking sharply. His fur bristling. The scarred cheek thug spins. Cursing. That damn dog again. He lunges. But Toro weaves through crates. Knocking over a stack of empty bottles. Glass shatters. Drawing the thug away from the entrance. Lucia seizes the moment. Crawling to Alma. She unties the ropes. Her hands shaking. Alma grips her arm. Voix fraye. The recipe. Save it. Lucia notes. Moving to the box. The key fits. But the lock is stiff. Rusted with age. Javier keeps watch. His prybar raised. The market's music swells, trumpets blare. Apparat passe nearby. Lucia twists the key. The lock clicking open. Inside. A folded parchment holds the mezcal recipe. Its edges worn but intact. She tucks it into her jacket. Whispering. We've got it. Alma. Let's go. But the second thug's voice cuts through. Someone's inside. Footsteps pound closer. And Javier signals to retreat. Toro. Still outside. Barks louder. Darting past the thug. Who swings a net. Grazing Toro's tail. The dog yelps but keeps running. Leading the thug toward the market. Lucia supports Alma, whose legs wobble from days of captivity. Javier leads them back to the tunnel. His flashlight flickering. Move fast. They're on to us. Alma clutches Lucia's arm. Her breath ragged. Toro's so brave. Don't let them hurt him. Toro's bark seco. Drawing the thugs further away. The festival's chaos, children chanting. Fireworks popping masks their escape. They crawl through the tunnel. Dirt smudging their painted faces. Toro's distraction buys them time. But the second thug spots the open grate. Shouting. They went this way. Lucia's heart lurches. They're in the tunnel. But the exit is near. Javier pushes Alma forward. His voice urgent. Keep moving. We'll lose them in the crowd. Toro bursts from the alley. Rejoining them. His limp worse, but eyes fierce. Lucia scoops him up. His warmth grounding her. You did it. Pequeño. The market engulfs them. Vendors offer pan dulce. Dancers twirl in skeleton costumes. They slip into a side street. Blending with revelers. Alma. Fraile but défiant. Whispers. The recipe's safe. But Diego won't stop. Javier scans the crowd. Spotting the thug's scarred face, searching nearby. He's too close. We need to hide. Lucia clutches the parchment. Toro panting in her arms. The festival's vibrancy marigolds. Candles. The hum of prayers fuels their resolve. Toro growls softly. As if sensing Diego's shadow looming. Lucia murmurs. We're not done. Pequeño. Xavier nods. We'll expose Diego. For Oaxaca. Will Toro's distraction hold? Can they escape with the recipe? Comment below with your thoughts. The festival hides them. But danger stalks closer. Oaxaca's Dia de los Muertos festival roars with life. The Zocalo market, a kaleidoscope of marigold arches and flickering candles. The air hums with mariachi trumpets. The scent of copal incense weaving through bursts of fireworks. Toro, the wiry mixed breed, with patchy gray fur, darts through the crowd. His scarred foreleg limping but relentless. His brown eyes blaze. Heart pounding from his recent distraction that allowed Lucia and Javier to free Alma from the warehouse. The mezcal recipe. A fragile parchment. He stuck it inside Lucia's jacket. But danger surges as Diego's thugs close in. Toro's barks still echo, drawing attention away from the tunnel where Lucia, Javier, and Alma emerged. Inside the warehouse. Moments ago. Lucia ungía Alma's ropes. Her calavera-painted face streaked with sweat. Javier pried open the wooden box, securing the recipe just as heavy boots thudded outside. Toro, sensing the second thug's approach, had leapt through the wall gap, barking fiercely. His fur bristled as he knocked over crates, glass shattering to mask the rescue. The scarred cheek thug shouted, "That mots back, get him Toro zigzagged." Dodging a swung net. Buying precious seconds. Now. Outside. The festival's chaos, dancers in skeleton costumes. Children, waving sugar, skulls, shields the group as they flee. But Diego's voice cuts through the warehouse. Whose Javier pushes Alma toward the tunnel. His voice urgent. Move. Now Lucia supports Alma, whose frail frame trembles but holds firm. Toro's barks fade as he rejoins them. Limping into the alley. Lucia scoops him up, whispering, "You're incredible, pequeño." The recipe's safe. But Diego bursts in, eyes wild, a crowbar in hand. "You thought you'd steal from me." He spots the open box, the loosened ropes, and roars. "They're here." His thugs charge. One vieldinka knife. The other, the net. Lucia, Javier, and Alma dive into the tunnel. Toro squirming in Lucia's arms. The cramped space smells of damp earth. The flashlight beam jittering as they crawl. Diego's shout echoes. "Find them." The festival's din drums. Shias. Firecrackers muffles their movements. But the second thug spots the open grate. "They went this way," Javier urges Alma forward. Her breath ragged. "Don't stop. We're almost out." Toro growls, sensing the pursuit. His eyes locked on Lucia as if to say, "Keep going." They emerge in a side street, blending into the festival crowd. Marigold petals litter the cobblestones, and masked revelers swirl around them. But Diego and his thugs burst from the alley, their shadows looming under lantern light. Lucia clutches the recipe. Alma's woven bracelet on her wrist a reminder of their mission. Javier scans the crowd, spotting the scarred cheek thug pushing through dancers. He's got the knife. "Run." Toro leaps from Lucia's arms, barking fiercely, and charges the thug, nipping at his heels. The man stumbles, cursing, giving the group a head start. The chase surges through Oaxaca's streets. The festival, a blur of color and sound. Fireworks crack overhead, their sparks mirroring Toro's fiery spirit. Lucia supports Alma, whose voice is faint but fierce. "Protect the recipe. It's our soul." Javier leads them toward the market's heart. Weaving past tamale stalls and candlelit ofrendas, Toro darts ahead, his limp slowing him but not his heart. He snaps at a thug's ankle, causing a cart of sugar skulls to topple, blocking the path. The crowd gasps. But the chaos aids their escape. Diego's voice rings out. Closer now. You can't heed his crowbar gleams. His cartel-backed rage palpable. Lucia's pulse hammers as she spots Captain Salazar, the corrupt police officer, joining the pursuit. His badge flashing. Javier Curse. He's with them. We need to lose them in the parade. The festival's main procession, skeletons dancing. Drums pounding first cover. Toro weaves through legs, barking to clear a path. His small frame, a beacon of courage. Lucia whispers. You're our hero. Pequeño. They duck behind a stall selling woven rebozos. The vendor's eyes widening at their urgency. Javier pleads. Hide us. The woman, recognizing Alma, nods, pulling them behind a curtain of fabrics. Toro leads low, bunting, his eyes alert. The vendor tosses marigolds over their trail, masking their scent. Diego and his thugs storm past, shouting. Where are they? Salazar scans the crowd, his radio crackling with orders. Lucia clutches the recipe, its parchment crinkling. Alma whispers. Toro saved us. He's Oaxaca's heart. The parade sweeps closer, musicians play. Mourners carry photos of loved ones. The air thick with copal and memory. Javier peeks out, spotting Diego's men circling back. They're not giving up. We need to move. Lucia nods, helping Alma stand. Toro barks once, sharp and determined, as if saying, follow me. They slip into the procession, blending with calavera-painted faces. Toro stays close, his limp more pronounced but his spirit unbroken. Fireworks light the sky, their booms drowning Diego's curses. Javier points to a church across the market. Its doors open for a vigil. If we make it there, we're safe. The crowd might protect us. Lucia grips Alma's arm, the recipe a weight against her chest. Toro leads, weaving through dancers, his barks guiding them like a compass. But the scarred thug spots them, shouting to Diego. There, the chase tightens, the festival's joy clashing with their fear. Toro growls, ready to fight again, his loyalty aflame in the night. The church's candles flicker ahead, a sanctuary in the chaos. Lucia murmurs. Almost there. Pequeño. Alma's breath is shallow but resolute. For Oaxaca. Toro's eyes gleam, urging them forward. Will they reach safety before Diego closes in? Comment below with your thoughts. Toro's courage burns bright. But the chase is far from over. Oaxaca's Día de los Muertos festival pulses under a starlit sky. The Zócalo market alive, with marigold arches and candlelit ofrendas. The air hums with mariachi music, the scent of copal incense mingling with roasted elote. Toro, the wiry mixed breed with patchy gray fur, limps through the crowd, his scarred foreleg aching, but his brown eyes fierce. Lucia clutches him, the mezcal recipe's parchment safe in her jacket, while Javier supports Alma, her frail frame leaning heavily on him. They've escaped Diego's thugs through the festival's chaos. But the scarred cheek thug and Captain Salazar, the corrupt officer, are close behind, their shouts piercing the revelry. Toro's ears twitch, his growls low but steady, guiding them toward the church's open doors. Inside, the church glows with hundreds of candles, their flames dancing on altars piled with marigolds and sugar skulls. The congregation murmurs prayers, honoring the dead, their voices a soft hum against the festival's din. Lucia, her calavera paint streaked with sweat, helps Alma to a pew, where she sinks down, clutching Toro. You saved us, Pequeño. Toro nuzzles her, his warmth easing her trembling. Javier barricades the side door with a wooden bench. His breath ragged. We're safe for now. But Diego's men are circling. Lucia pulls out the parchment. Its faded script a testament to Oaxaca's heritage. We've got the recipe. Alma. You're free. Alma's eyes. Cloudy but sharp. Fix on Lucia. Not yet. Diego's cartel has papers fake deeds to our agave fields. They're hidden in his office. Behind the warehouse. She pulls a small silver locket from her sleeve. Her hands shaking. Inside. A tiny note lists names cartel leaders and Salazar. Proof of their plot to seize the Mezcal legacy. Lucia gasps. This could ruin them. Javier nods. His hat gone. Hair damp with sweat. We need to get this to someone who can expose Diego. Now. The festival's energy seeps into the church drum's echo. Fireworks pop outside. A woman in a rebozo. Part of the congregation. Recognizes Alma and kneels beside her. You're safe here. Señora. We'll protect you. She offers a clay cup of atole. Which Alma sips. Her strength returning. Toro lies at her feet. His eyes scanning the door. Ready to bark at any threat. Lucia strokes his head. You're our guardian. Pequeño. Javier pulls out his phone. Texting a journalist friend in Mexico City. Elena. Known for exposing corruption. I'm sending her the locket's note and our camera footage. Diego's done. Lucia reviews the footage from her hidden camera. Showing Diego's threats and Salazar's involvement. She uploads it to Elena. Adding a message. This is bigger than mezcal. It's about Oaxaca's soul. Toro barks softly. As if approving. The woman in the rebozo brings blankets. Wrapping one around Alma. The congregation. Sensing their urgency. Forms a quiet barrier near the door. Their prayers a shield. Javier murmurs. This town's with us. Toro brought us together. Outside. Diego's voice cuts through the festival's hum. They're in the church. Salazar's radio crackles. Ordering his men to block the exits. Lucia's heart races. But the congregation's resolve holds firm. A young boy. His face painted as a calavera. Slips through the crowd outside. Whispering to vendors. They're hiding Alma. Protect them. The market responds. Vendors shift carts. Blocking the church's entrance. Their faces defiant. Toro senses the shift. His tail wagging despite his limp. Lucia whispers. You've sparked something. Pequeño. Alma. Regaining strength. Clutches the locket. My father wore this. It's all we had left when the cartel came. She hands it to Lucia. Give it to your journalist. Let the world know. Lucia nods. Sending a photo of the note to Elena. The reply is instant. This is enough to bury Diego and Salazar. Stay safe. Javier scans the church. Spotting a back courtyard. We can slip out there. Blend into the parade. Toro barks. Leading the way. His nose sniffing for danger. The courtyard is quiet. Lined with marigold petals and small altars. The festival's noise guitars. Laughter. Firecrackers masks their steps. Lucia supports Alma. Who grips her arm. Toro's my miracle. He found you. Toro limps ahead. His eyes alert. Guiding them to a side street where the parade flows. Dancers in skeleton costumes swirl past. Their movements. A blur of color. Javier pulls his poncho tight. Stay close. We're not clear yet. Diego's thugs push through the market. Their shouts drowned by the parade's roar. The scarred thug spots a flash of Toro's fur. Yelling to Salazar. They're moving. But the crowd. Now aware. Closes ranks. Vendors tossing marigolds to obscure their path. Toro barks. weaving through legs. His courage, a beacon. Lucia murmurs. You're leading us home. Pequeño. Alma's voice is faint but proud. For Oaxaca. They merge with the parade. Calavera masks, hiding their faces. Javier texts, Elena, we're out. Publish everything. The congregation's prayers echo behind them. A chorus of hope. Toro. Limping, but unyielding. Stays by Alma. His warmth, her anchor. The festival's chaos copal smoke. Marigold trails. Mariachi wails shields their escape. Lucia clutches the locket and parchment. Her resolve ironclad. Xavier nods. We've got them now. Toro's barks fade into the music. A promise of justice. The cartel's shadow looms. But the town's heart beats stronger. Will Elena's exposé stop Diego in time? Can Toro keep leading them to safety? Comment below with your thoughts. Oaxaca's legacy rests in their hands. And Toro's loyalty lights the path. Oaxaca's Día de los Muertos festival glows under a moonlit sky. The Zocalo market, a tapestry of marigold arches and candlelit ofrendas. The air thrums with mariachi violins. The scent of copal incense blending with sweet pan dulce. Toro. The wiry, mixed breed, with patchy gray fur. Lynx beside Lucia. His scarred foreleg tender but his brown eyes radiant with purpose. The mezcal recipe's parchment is safe in Lucia's jacket. And Alma's silver locket. Containing the note naming Diego's cartel allies and Captain Salazar. Is with Javier. They've escaped the warehouse and found refuge in the church. But Diego's thugs still lurk. Their shadows flickering in the festival's chaos. Toro's low growl steadies the group. His loyalty, a beacon. Inside the church. Candles cast a warm glow on altars piled with marigolds and sugar skulls. Alma. Frail, but resolute. Sits in a pew. Clutching Toro. You brought us here. Pequeño. Lucia kneels beside her. The locket's note now sent to Elena. The journalist in Mexico City. Javier checks his phone. His face tense. Elena's got everything, the footage. The note. She's publishing tonight. Lucia's calavera paint is smeared. But her voice is firm. Diego's finished. Toro nuzzles her hand. As if agreeing. His tail wagging faintly despite his limp. The congregation. Sensing their victory. Surrounds them protectively. A woman in a rebozo whispers. You're safe. Señora Alma. Oaxaca stands with you. She offers a clay bowl of pozole. Which Alma sips. Her strength returning. Toro lies at her feet. Eyes scanning the door. Ready to bark at any threat. Outside. The festival swells drum pound. Children chant. Fireworks burst in vibrant arcs. Lucia murmurs. You're our hero. Pequeño. Xavier nod. Gripping the pry bar under his poncho. We've got the proof. Now we wait. Elena's exposé hits the airwaves before midnight. A local radio station interrupts its festival broadcast. Elena's voice crackling through. Diego Vargas and Captain Salazar are linked to a cartel plotting to steal Oaxaca's mezcal heritage. Evidence from a brave citizen shows their crimes. The market buzzes with gasps, vendors pause. Dancers stop. Phones light up with the news. Lucia's footage of Diego's threats and the locket's note. Naming cartel leaders. Flash across screens in cantinas and homes. Javier grins. That's it. They're done. Diego's roar echoes from the plaza. Lies. Who sent this? He pushes through the crowd. His slick hair disheveled. Salazar at his side. But the festival goers turn on them. Their faces painted as calaveras. Eyes hard. Avendor shouts. Traitor, you sold our heritage. Marigolds rain down. A symbolic rebuke. Federal police. tipped by Elena, swarm the market. Their sirens cutting through the music. Salazar tries to flee, but a group of women weaving rebozos blocks his path. Their voices sharp. No te escapas. Diego's thugs hesitate. Then scatter as handcuffs click around Diego's wrists. He glares at the church, shouting, "I'll find you, Alma." Hearing the commotion, stands, leaning on Lucia. "It's over. Isn't it?" Toro barks. A sharp, triumphant sound. His tail wagging. Lucia hooks her. "You're free, Alma. The recipe's safe." Javier checks his phone. Elena's article is viral, shared across Mexico. The congregation cheers. Their prayers, now songs of victory. A young girl, her face painted like a skull, slips a marigold garland around Toro's neck. "Eres nuestro héroe, pequeño." Toro wags his tail, his limp forgotten in the moment's joy. The church doors open, and Alma steps into the market, supported by Lucia and Javier. The crowd parts, their faces glowing with pride. An old man, his hands calloused from agave fields, kneels before Alma. "Your mezcal lives, señora. We'll protect it." Alma's eyes brim with tears. "Gracias. This is for Oaxaca." Toro trots beside her, the garland bright against his gray fur, his eyes shining like stars. The festival resumes. Mariachi plays. Danza suave. The air thick with copal and hope. Lucia and Javier lead Alma to a cantina, where vendors offer tamales and atole. Alma sits, her silver hair catching the lantern light. She pulls the parchment from Lucia's jacket. "It's scripta promiscept. This belongs to us all." Javier nods. "We'll start a cooperative. Make the mezcal the old way." Lucia sketches Toro on a napkin, his silhouette fierce. "You made this possible, pequeño." Toro rests at Alma's feet, his warmth her anchor. The market celebrates. Children painting Toro's image on sugar skulls. A vendor weaves a tiny rebozo forrim, calling him el guardián de Oaxaca. Elena arrives, her camera crew filming the reunion. She hugs Lucia. "Your footage broke the story. And this dog, he's a legend." Toro barks, as if understanding, his garland swaying. Alma smiles, her voice strong. "Gracias, pequeño. Tú me salvaste." The crowd chants Toro's name, their voices rising with the fireworks. Diego and Salazar are led away, the cartel's plot crumbling. Oaxaca's spirit, embodied in Alma's recipe, is safe. Toro, once a stray, is now a symbol. Lucia whispers, "You changed everything, pequeño." Javier adds, "This town won't forget." Will Toro's legacy endure? Can Oaxaca heal from Diego's betrayal? Comment below with your thoughts. The mezcal's soul burns bright, and Toro's heart leads the way. Oaxaca awakens under a golden dawn. The Zócalo market cat after the Dia de los Muertos frenzy. Marigold petals litter the cobblestones, their scent mingling with roasted agave from nearby mezcal distilleries. Toro, the wiry mixed breed with patchy gray fur, trots through the market, his scarred foreleg healed enough to carry him proudly. His brown eyes gleam, a marigold garland still draped around his neck from the festival. Alma, her silver hair neatly braided, walks beside Lucia, the mezcal recipe's parchment now framed in her home. Javier follows, his calloused hands carrying a clay jug of their first batch of reclaimed mezcal. Diego and Captain Salazar are behind bars, their cartel plot exposed. But Toro's legacy is just beginning. Alma's agave fields, once threatened by Diego's fake deeds, thrive again. The community, Inspired by Toro's courage. Forms a cooperative to protect her family's mezcal tradition. Farmers tend the fields. Their machetes, glinting, as they harvest agave under Oaxaca's sun. Javier oversees production. His voice steady as he teaches young apprentices. This isn't just liquor. It's our history. He pours a sample into a clay cup. Its smoky aroma, a tribute to Alma's ancestors. Lucia, her paintbrush in hand, finishes a mural on the market's wall. Toro, his garland bright, stunts beside Alma. Agave fields stretching behind them. She whispers, "You changed us." Pequeño. Toro, once a stray, is now a beloved figure. Vendors him tamales. Children weave tiny rebozos for him, calling him el guardián de Oaxaca. He roams the cooperative's distillery, curling up beside oak barrels. Is presence a quiet promise. Alma, her strength restored. Visi deli, her locket gleaming as she strokes Toro's head. You saved more than me. Pequeño, you saved our soul. Toro wags his tail. His barks sharp and joyful. No longer the silent stray of the alleys, the market transforms. Its spirit lifted. Stalls now offer bowls of water and food for strays. A nod to Toro's journey. During festivals, children paint Toro's image on sugar skulls. Their laughter echoing as they tell his story. A local school starts a program. Inspired by Lucia, teaching kids to care for animals and respect Oaxaca's traditions. Javier leads mezcal tastings. Each glass a toast to Toro. This is his victory. He says, raising a cup. To el guardián. The crowd cheers. Their voices blending with mariachi music under lantern-lit skies. Elena, the journalist, returns to document the cooperative's success. Her article, now a book, tells Toro's tale. Its pages sold in market stalls beside marigolds and copal. She kneels beside Toro, her camera flashing. You're a legend. Pequeño. Your story's inspiring Mexico. Lucia, sketching nearby, smiles. It's not just his story. It's ours. Alma nods, her eyes bright. Oaxaca's heart beats because of him. Toro barks, his marigold garland swaying, as if understanding his place in their world. The cooperative thrives. Its mezcal, named Corazón de Toro, winning awards. Botos Biar Toro Silhouette, a symbol of resilience. Alma, now a community elder, shares her recipe's secrets, ensuring it lives on. She sits with Lucia one evening. The distillery's fires casting shadows. My father would be proud. Toro gave us this chance. Lucia, her hands stained with paint, adds, he gave us hope. Toro curls up beside them. His warmth, a constant. Javier Juin, offering a sip of mezcal. To Toro. To Oaxaca. The market's energy endures, vendors weave rebozos. Musicians play. The scent of elote and copal ever present. Lucia's mural becomes a pilgrimage site. Visitors leaving marigolds at its base. Children draw Toro's story in school, their crayons capturing his fierce eyes. A vendor carves a wooden statue of him, placing it by the church where they hid. Toro, unaware of his fame, chases a butterfly through the agave fields. His limp nearly gone. Lucia laughs. You're still a puppy. Pequeño. Alma hosts a festival to honor Toro. The market alight with candles and ofrendas. She speaks to the crowd. A voice strong. This mezcal. This land. This town they live, because a stray dog refused to give up. Toro barks, his garland bright. And the crowd roars, lifting clay mugs. Toro, Lucia and Javier stand beside him, their faces glowing with pride. Lucia whispers, "You're our spark, pequeño." Javier adds, "You taught us to fight." Toro's legacy ripple beyond Oaxaca. Schools across Mexico adopt his story, teaching compassion and courage. Refuges for strays open. Inspired by his journey, Elena's book spreads, its proceeds funding the cooperative. Toro, now graying slightly, still roams the market. His bark's a reminder of resilience. Alma, Lucia, and Javier continue their work. The distillery, a beacon of tradition. The church's altar now holds a small photo of Toro, surrounded by marigolds. Aquiet tribute. One evening, as the sun sets over the agave fields, Alma sits with Toro, her locket open. "You gave me back my family, pequeño." Lucia sketches them, her mural growing. Javier pour mezcal, its aroma grounding them. Toro lis content, his eyes reflecting the firelight. Oaxaca's soul, once threatened, burns bright. Will Toro's story inspire others? Can his legacy endure? Comment below with your thoughts. A small dog's heart has reshaped a town, and his light shines on. Toro's story is more than a stray's journey, it's proof that loyalty and courage, even from a small dog, can transform a community. Alma, with Toro, Lucia, and Javier, saved Oaxaca's mezcal legacy. A recipe that holds the soul of agave fields and ancestral prayers. From Zócalos Marigoldstrand streets, Toro rose from a forgotten stray to El Guardián de Oaxaca. His marigold garland, a crown of valor. Diego's defeat and Salazar's arrest freed Alma. But Toro's heart freed a town. The cooperative thrives. It's Mezcal Corazón de Toro, a toast to resilience. Lucia's mural, Javier's craft, and Alma's strength carry Toro's spirit forward. Toro runs through agave fields, his limp fading, eyes bright as festival candles. Oaxaca's markets now shelter strays, inspired by his courage. His story, etched in sugar, skulls, and schoolbooks, reminds us that heroes don't need words, just a fearless heart. Toro taught us to fight for what's ours, to honor our roots. Share your thoughts below. Do you believe one dog can change the world? Hit like, subscribe to Huellas y Susurros, and tap the bell to catch more stories that touch the soul. Look at the screen's corner, another heartfelt tale awaits, ready to make you believe in miracles.